Crazy Warhammer 40K legal. And I want to stress legal cheats. This is something that I'm looking into a little bit more out of a curiosity. Now, there are certainly, and I've said this, the 40K narrative, the Grimdark narrative, there are lots of different ways to play it and explore it. And we kind of want to push things into two categories. Maybe this idea of being binary is very, very easy for us to understand. But as hobbyists, we tend to look and say, well, on the one side, we've got the pure whack, win at all cost players, competitive players, tournament players, just going to totally destroy you with their min-max meta army. It's very polarizing. And on the opposite side, we have the pure narrative players. I'm going to see how many bikers I can put down and build my army list. I don't even care how it plays. I think a lot of us meet in the middle, and I tend to be somewhat in the middle and then lean a little bit towards, if we're going to classify things, towards the narrative play. I have an idea of something that I want to do, play all jet bikes or explore space clowns or play massive Nidzilla type armies. And in building those armies from a narrative first, then I really look down and say, okay, how am I going to try and win with this on the table? And there are going to be areas, of course, that I don't do very well in, or just deficiencies based on the rules, because it's not like Games Workshop balances anything or tests anything. The way we deal with that is by being aware of the limits and then saying, how do I stop it? Or can I stop it? And we're going to move more into 40K army building in a moment because it is so polarizing. But this now has me looking, as I'm looking to move from my Grey Knight army and reboot, I won't say back into Tyranids. I never really left Tyranids, but I was doing the Chaos thing for a long time, still doing the Chaos thing. Looking at, of course, Eldar, always playing Eldar, looking at Necrons, looking at Grey Knights, playing a ton of Grey Knights. The space bugs need a little love. So in exploring that, 40K, as many war games are, it's about combos. It's about pulling things off within the rules that technically they're legal. I'm never saying to cheat. Absolutely, they're legal. But because Games Workshop doesn't test things, doesn't care about things, and constantly cycles for you to buy the newest hotness, in every edition there is and continues to be these examples of, yeah, it works, you can do that, but boy, is that beardy. Boy, is that absolutely crazy. And the best example that I'm going to turn it over to you guys, where to look, or just things that you think in the armies you're playing, hey, this does not make any sense whatsoever. The biggest, greatest, most craziest example, and we're going to go back, we're not even talking about Knob Bikers when they came out, was this window of 5th edition, 6th edition, where this is the picture we're looking at. I tend to take pictures of all the games I play to review Tactica afterwards. This picture is not very good on the splash screen, and I apologize for it. And you're listening to this, and you're wondering, what are we even looking at? We are looking at a building with a Vindicator, Blood Angel Vindicator behind it. And on the bottom floor and the top floor, we've got a Blood Angel Devastator squad. And what you can't see is my Eldar army, Eldrad specifically at the time, hanging out next to that tank. And within the blast radius of the Vindicator is an objective marker. And the mission that we were playing, it was a doubles tournament. The mission that we were playing had one objective marker in the center. Essentially, it was kind of the old school King of the Hill. And our plan, this is when, going back a number of editions, if you remember, or if you're new to 40K for this edition, there was a time when you played your army and that was it. We didn't have force alliances, allies, all that type of stuff. And a brief period, Games Workshop realized we can get people to buy more armies if we make certain armies Battle Brothers and allies and all that type of stuff. So you could play Eldar for a brief time with Blood Angels. And because Games Workshop doesn't update things in the FAQ, it didn't say that you couldn't. So you could, kind of like the old Psychic Hood shenanigans on the entire table. A lot of people were taking a lot of people were taking a Dark Angels HQ choice at the time because they had the unlimited range Psychic Hood that could negate powers because Games Workshop was lazy in balancing and updating. So you were playing a massive apocalypse game, literally 5 tables down, someone's going to use psychic powers at the time, and some Dark Angel players, like on the other side of the board, I cancel your powers with my hood. Raw, rules as written. So because of the lack of playtesting, my Space Elf powers could be cast on the Blood Angels. Eldrad, and again, this is at the time of that edition, Eldrad could bust out multiple powers. Eldrad could do powers of the same type as long as they did not repeat. I mean, he's the master space elf, so that's what we expect. So essentially, and behind that, we had waves and waves of Blood Angel Assault Marines just ready to scream out, myself and Java Balls. So the plan was, last turn shenanigans, just bomb everything with that Vindicator and that Devastator squad on that central objective, anything that comes up. And then at the last second, rush out with literally like 30 or 40 Blood Angel Assault Marines backed by Guardian spam and backed by some Dire Avengers. Well, everything that was brought up based on this combo, and this was probably one of the most broken combos that I played. Again, perfectly legal. I mean, I didn't feel great doing it, but, it was a tournament and other people were pulling out their crazy, crazy stuff. I would cast Guide on the Vindicator, and Guide at the time let you re-roll failed misses. It lets you re-roll misses, or this was back in the template rules, you could re-roll the Scatter. So a Scatter die with a 33% chance of hitting doubled, and also you could re-roll the Scatter dice, so I could cut it down. Then you could also cast Doom, which allowed any wounds to be re-rolled. The Vindicator also, the AP was low enough, you only got invulnerable saves at the time. So essentially, I'm going to auto-hit, I'm going to auto-kill, and if I don't auto-kill, I get another chance at auto-killing. And then I'm also casting powers on the Devastator squad, which had plasma cannons, which were also small templates. Same thing, reroll and reroll. I also should say I had another Farseer backing up there, so he was casting powers. Just absolutely broken, crazy. So there's always been things like this, and we just... Every opponent that we fought, at the time it was mechanized spam, where this is kind of where we see with combos also that GW doesn't test. In theory, what catches you with these crazy combos is intellectually you understand them. Intellectually you can see and come up with these ideas. But the first couple of times you face them on the table and you feel powerless and you feel like, I don't get this. This is crazy. How did GW allow this? That catches you by surprise. And what really put us over in that moment was players understood it intellectually. I mean, we were up front. Here are the units we have. Turn one, you see us casting the Space Elf powers. So from that perspective, right there, you kind of know what's going on. But it took to turn 2 or 3, where literally they're throwing stuff up there and they're just getting blasted and blasted and blasted, and we're killing fistfuls of models, and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can save against. And even Terminators at the time, mass invulnerability saves, they've got the 5-up. I mean, we were blowing up 3-up Terminators. It was just insane with it. So that's what this picture is here, and just seeing it poking out, just laying down the pie plates. I kind of missed the pie plates. But from that perspective, looking now, I am looking at broken combos, one from the perspective of my Tyranid army, but also knowing that I have to re-educate myself now that things are opening up a little bit more, and really look at, like, what are some of these just like, really, guy? That's what you're playing. And yeah, in that moment, I was that guy. I admit to it. But really, guy, this is what you're bringing to the table. This is what we're doing. Okay. Because with a thematic Tyranid army, I got to be ready. I got to be aware so I don't get caught by surprise. So I'll turn it over to you guys, the curiosity. And again, raw, rules as written. We're not cheating. We're not bending the rules. It's like, you know what? GW did not do due diligence. This is what they're allowing. The next FAQ will still be as ambiguous, or quite frankly, it'll strip the power because now they want to sell some other models and it'll just shift the name to something else. But in exploring that, what are some of those that exist in the current meta of 40K?